This is a simple loop animation, and today we will create step by step using After Effects to get this final result. Hi everyone, I am Ismail Dadaşzadeh from ZaidMotion. This is my first video on the channel, and I'll be sharing fresh animation tutorials every week. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram to stay updated with all last videos. Let's get started. Let's create a new composition with 920 by 1080 and change the name to Aura Circle. Click OK. Create another composition 540 by 540. Let's call this one BG Aura. I have a color palette. Also, you can find project file and all assets link in the description. Okay, let's go to the mask tool and change fill to linear gradient and turn off stroke. Back to the mask tool and click on the ellipse tool twice. You can adjust the gradient with these points. I'm not going to change this color. Make it a little smaller and place just below our color palette. Let's duplicate by pressing Ctrl D and make it a little smaller. I'll duplicate probably 17 of this circle and adjust their colors. Now we need to move them. We will do this by adding a wiggle position. Let's select one of them and add wiggle position from the effects on it and make the amount value to 100. Now, after copying both effects, we will paste them on the other circle. Let's put the anchor points in the middle. Then let's increase speed of the animation by making the amount value of the small ones to 100. Let's create an adjustment layer and throw the fastback spooler effects on it and set the value to around 70. Go back to the main composition and add the BG Aura to this composition. Select the BG Aura and draw a circle by clicking on the mask tool and pressing Shift plus Ctrl plus Alt from the middle. We need to add inner glow and bevel and emboss to our circle. First, go to inner glow and change to color to white. Change the size and range to 100 and blend mode screen to darken. Close inner glow and open the bevel and emboss. Set the size to 15 and softness to 16. Set the opacity and shadows to 100. You can really see the difference. Let's pre-compose and name circle and click OK. Click once on the box here. Add a curves effect and make this pale color more vivid. I think it's good enough to put it like this. Then we need to add the deep glow effect. After adding this effect, you can see there's a distortion in the colors. We are going to fix this by adding the vibrance effect. We can fix this by making the vibrance value to 100. If you want, you can adjust the saturation a little more. Let's increase. This is what it looks like when it's at 0 right now. Let's increase to 20. Actually seems good. Turn it off and look at it. The whiteness is too much here. Let's turn it down. Go back to the BG Aura, select an adjustment layer and turn it off. Select our white circle and after clicking on fill once, let's reduce the whiteness of the points that appear. If we look back, we can see that the whiteness here has decreased. This is what we want. Let's open Title, Action, Save and Rulers. Select the mask tool once more and create a circle of the same size by pressing Shift plus Ctrl plus Alt. From here, we switch off the linear gradient and change its color to red. We duplicate 3 times and switch off the fill one of them and also switch on the stroke. I set the value to 2.5. We don't need it for now. Place our circle on top and scale down using the S key on the keyboard. That should be enough. I'm gonna drag it from the right to this part and we are going to duplicate again and leave it like that. We will fix later. Now we can adjust these two. Change the color of this one to green and put it in the same position at the other circle. Move everything to the center make this shape visible and turn off the fill and turn on the stroke. Let's align it exactly here and we'll do the same on the other side. I think it's look good. Let's duplicate and put it in the same position at the green circle and make it bigger, like this. Duplicate again and put it in the other side. Let's have a quick look. Now I'm gonna to give it a name because we always name our layers. I am ready. I have even set the color of the layers. I am going to select the small circles and move them to the bottom. Then duplicate the big circles. Put them right on the top. Then we are going to click on the box here and only the ones we have copied will appear. Change their color to blue. Let's go to the track matte and alpha matte big circle 4 to big circle 3. When we close this box, we have a scene like this. Now I'm going to duplicate the small circles and drag it to the top and change its name to the center. Also at the same time I'm going to place it right in the center. We don't need the center for now, so I'm going to turn it off. Then we are going to add the BG aura as a track on the big circles using a different method. This is a very useful method. I may even publish video on it in the future. Let's continue. We select big circle 1 and add the leaf color to it. The color currently selected in the effect is red, so nothing will change. But if I select a different color and the color currently selected is not red, that color will be removed. Then I add a linear color key and remove this color by selecting the color you see here. Let's go back to the project panel and copy the BG aura and rename it to the track. Drag it down and drop it on the big circle 1. I am going to close it for now and change its name to track 1. Now alpha matte track 1 to big circle 1. Nothing may be visible now, but if you go to FX control and turn off the leaf color, you can see our track is here. Select the track and place it here. We will do the same for these circles. Copy the track again and drag it over the big circle 2 and copy the effects we used here and paste them here. Now I am going to alpha matte track 2 to big circle 2. We are going to add the layer effects we used before. Let's click on the small circles twice and copy the layer styles. Also copy and paste the curves and V-branes too. I think it's good. I guess this is all that's left. We can just make the color of this one black and leave it. Now open up the center and have a look at it. Actually we need to rescale a little bit with the null object. Let's connect them all to the null object and scale down a bit by clicking on the S key. Delete the null object and select the ones outside the center and click P on the keyboard to open position property. Let's move the timeline forward 1 second and keyframe them all. Move the timeline back to the beginning. Almost I forget. Let's align them all from the align because this is important. Move the timeline back to the beginning again, and this time let's get them all in the center of the screen. Now let's close the positions, select these two strokes and open the scale property by pressing S on the keyboard. Again, go forward 1 second and add them under the same keyframe. Go back and turn them off. Set the value around 85. As you can see, they are now both the same size. Let's move on. Now it's time to center. Let's go forward 1 second and add keyframes. Go back to the beginning and even 85. Again, I almost forget. Let's center it align. It's done now. Let's press U on the keyboard and copy the first keyframes. Paste the same keyframes for another 1 second. Then select them all and press F9. Go to the graph editor, select them all and then set the graphic to 90. From here, let's watch for a moment. Yeah, that's work, it's good. Let's change the name of this composition to geometry loop. Click OK and go to the project, create a new composition. Change its name to circle animation. Now, go back to the geometry loop, copy the center and paste it here. Open scale property and delete those keyframes. Press Ctrl D to duplicate. We will duplicate 4 times. Then select them all and place them on the same line. Before we start our animation, let's add the reference lines from the rulers to the scene. You can just drag and drop them like this. I will add 4 in total and use this line most of the time. I think you should get used to it too. Now let's select all the layers and open the position property. Add keyframes for 1 second and we come back to the beginning and center them all again. Let's go 1 second further and put first one here, this one here, this here, and the last one here. Let's go 1 second and recenter them all again as we did at the beginning. Go to F9 all keyframes. Then go to graph editor and set it to 90 again. I made a mistake here. Let's fix it. Actually, this one should go here and that one should go there. Let's open the scale by selecting them all again. Open the position property and add keyframe to this part. Go forward and change the scale value to 85. I'm not going to bother at all. I select them all and set their graphics to 90. We need to reduce the brightness in this part. So I go to FX control and add a keyframe to radius just below the keyframes here. Then go back and change the value to 0. Copy and paste it to other circle. Let's restore the circle at the top. This time, let's go over the circle at the bottom of this one. Click U on the keyboard and add a keyframe to this part. Go to the end and change the radius value back to the 0. Let's copy and paste these keyframes onto the other two and align them like this. Press F9 and set them to 90. Now let's create a new composition and name it main comp. Add the animations we created here. Now I am going to drag the circle animation down and close it. Then we'll go to the geometry loop comp. I think this is a little bit slow animation. Let's hit U on the keyboard and select all the keyframes and hold down the Alt key to shorten the keyframes to about here. Now let's find the middle of the keyframes, right in the middle. Go back to the main composition and add a marker right here. Let's repeat the same process in the circle animation. Again, selecting all keyframes and hold down the Alt key on the keyboard and set the third keyframe to come here. Now let's go back to the main comp by going to the middle of the keyframe. At this point, press Shift plus Ctrl plus D to cut this part and delete the leading part. In the same way, let's cut this and move it to the beginning of the timeline. Then go to the geometry loop and find the center of the other keyframes. Press Shift plus Ctrl plus D again and delete the other part. Now we need to place them one after the other. Then by going to the circle animation, after finding the center of the last keyframe, let's separate that part. We don't need the rest anyway. Now we have a 2-second loop animation, and if you want to extend it further, you can just duplicate both of them and add them to the ends in the same way and extend them as much as you like. Just make sure you don't leave a space at the end. Let's also create a solid background and apply the 4-color gradient effect on it. You can also adjust the colors by selecting them on the scene. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, leave a comment and subscribe so you never miss out on our latest content. You can also follow me on Instagram to get early access to the upcoming videos. See you in the next time.